Today we got two giant pieces of Xbox news for you, one that is very, very dark and very bad, one that is positive and kind of epic, but let's talk about it. What's up gamers, DreamcastGuy here. Now if you enjoy these videos about video games, and apparently me not wearing a proper shirt, be sure to like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. So Xbox just announced that they're doing a Bethesda Games showcase coming up in June. It's going to happen at noon. This is essentially going to be their version of an E3 showcase. Now, in the past, I've been a pretty big fan of Xbox's showcases because I feel like they understand the fact that it should be games. A lot of times it's just back-to-back trailers and hype and not a bunch of sit-down talk. I feel like a lot of times if you're revealing games, if you're doing a big showcase, you have to keep that excitement intense. Turn up the pressure to 11. Now I have 4 big predictions as to what we're going to see at this Xbox Bethesda showcase, and I think it's going to come down to, first and foremost, Starfield. This game is just so hyped up, it's so talked about. Pretty much every single Xbox social media account is constantly tweeting teases about this project, but when you consider it, we haven't seen gameplay. We have not seen anything about Starfield, and it comes out in 6 months. That's bonkers to me that this is coming out in such a relatively short amount of time, and this is, in my opinion, the major Xbox game of the entire year. The fact that they haven't been showing us screenshots and stuff, they've been showing us like concept art and playing music and stuff, which, no offense to that, but I am a gamer. I want to see gameplay. I want to see combat. I want to see those big flashy moments that make me go, whoa, this is the power of the Xbox Series X. Well, we got some unofficial news, which is this. Former Bethesda employee leaks that Starfield is doing good for the most part. Now, this guy is actually a confirmed developer on Starfield. He made a bunch of different stuff like the character models. He's worked on the art and stuff like that. Well, he's been talking very candidly because his contract is up. He's quit the studio. He's on to his new job, but he has been saying that Starfield has different play types. It's got times where you're going to be able to run around and shoot stuff. There's been leaked screenshots of flying and exploration. Well, he says straight up, the starships that you're going to be flying in freaking Starfield kinda suck, but thankfully, graphics, lighting, and the other gameplay seems pretty good. The fact that you can just shoot people and explore, and it's going to be an RPG. A lot of people have described it as Skyrim in outer space, which to me, as a Skyrim fanboy, sounds fantastic. But what's interesting is that people have been saying, since there's so little information, do you think it's really going to hit its November 11th release date? And he says yes, they will, because it's a sexy date, but if they have to, they will cut content. Even if they have to cut some stuff though, it does sound like the project is big, it's on track, and it sounds like it's very, very hyped. But the other stuff I definitely think we're going to see is hopefully stuff like, I really want to see Hellblade 2 at this E3 style event because I really like the first Hellblade. I'd love another taste of this weird Senua universe. I also want to see something about Elder Scrolls 6, even if it's a screenshot, even if it's just talk about the project. I want to see what's coming after the world of Skyrim. And also give us something like State of Decay 3. Talk about the future of Xbox. Like right now, I think I've only been playing Halo for this entire year on my Xbox Series X, and also some third-party stuff, but there just hasn't been that same level of intense hype for the Xbox Series X that I probably wished we had. There have been a lot of rumors about a Doom sequel coming out relatively soon, and stuff like that would be very, very important for telling the fan base this is why Xbox is going to win. And that, to me, as a mostly PlayStation gamer, sounds absolutely epic. But let's talk about the bad news that just broke today. In fact, it was right as I was setting up my camera. This is a new article by Jason Schreier over on Bloomberg. Jason Schreier still has me blocked on Twitter because I said he looks like he pays for feet pics, and that seemed to have really made him mad. But here we go. Basically what's happening is that the Activision-Microsoft deal is still going through. As we all know, Microsoft wants to buy the company for $69 billion. Nice. Which is cool, but it sounds like the guys in suits over at Wall Street are thinking the deal is going to fail. The people with money, the people who bet on companies, whether they rise or whether they fall, are thinking this is going to get canceled. But let me show you what I'm talking about. Essentially what's going on is that This is a big deal going on that the company needs approval for. Investors fear the legal challenge from the FTC chair. Inside the United States government, there's a big group called the Federal Trade Commission that exists for the singular reason of making sure that everybody plays fair. Companies aren't going to consume each other or crush each other or just cheat each other. It's important because, let's face it, if you're some of these trillion-dollar companies like T-Mobile or Comcast or obviously in this case Microsoft, you could theoretically just buy the competition and then just eat up every penny of the market. It's not fair. It's not fun, and we as the consumers absolutely lose. Well, the FTC is currently looking very, very carefully at this entire deal, and it seems like people at Wall Street are starting to back out of their trades. So what's happening is that right now, when they buy Activision, the shares are going to cost $95 each. People are trading 25% below that. What this means is that if you're paying for market price, it's because you expect to get that money back. If you're paying under market price, it's because you expect it's going to fail. Now, let me explain why this is happening. Is that what's going on is that there are antitrust enforcers that are trying to make sure that this is all completely fair. But what's very, very fascinating is that if this deal is going to get approved, it needs to be approved by America and our government, which is right now very anti-billionaire in a lot of ways. But then it also needs to get approved separately by the entire European Union, and then it has to get approved by China. And then it gets to happen. Like, Microsoft is in a strange spot because I'm probably sure they're keeping that $69 billion ready. They're having to just set it aside and wait until it's appropriate to buy this. Now, everybody on Wall Street is apparently saying, no way, this is not going to happen. They're going to stop it. Now, I find this entire thing to be personally incredibly fascinating just because there hasn't been a business deal this big ever in the world of video games. Like, freaking Minecraft by itself sold for $2 billion. The fact that this is 35 times more money than that, I'm just curious to see what happens. If this does end up being successful and Activision manages to get gobbled up by Microsoft, this is going to permanently change the gaming industry. This is going to make what they call precedent. Once you do a big enough business deal, it changes the rules forever of any future companies, which means that right now, if you buy something for $70 billion, we could see bigger and bigger acquisitions. Pretty much every liquid penny can be spent trying to buy more studios, more people, more employees. And I'm curious if this leads to better games or worse games. This is just such uncharted waters. As a video gamer, somebody that has all the consoles, that buys games on every console, I'm still a bit nervous. I'm excited to see in the short term if this is going to make Activision Blizzard games suck less, because honestly, Blizzard games specifically have started to suck, but how does this turn out in 10 years? How does this turn out when the next generation of consoles comes out? That, to me, I think is the part we should really start considering today. But what do you think about it? Are you excited for the future of Xbox, or does this seem like a bunch of false hype? Tell me your thoughts in the comments down below, and please, if you enjoyed this video, give it a giant thumbs up, share with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. But do me the biggest favor of all, and keep dreaming. All right, I need a Red Bull. And maybe to put a shirt on. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.